100 million silver. In my opinion, that is the mark of somebody who is rich in Albion. Barring some extreme cases, it's enough to buy anything you ever want without having to worry too much about the money, and enough to start making substantial long-term investments to secure financial stability. So I wanted to see how difficult it would be for me to make 100 mil from a fresh start. Welcome to my new Rags to Riches series, where I start on a fresh account with just 1 silver and make my way up to 100 million. Hello everybody, it has been a hot minute since episode 1. Before we get into episode 2, I just wanted to quickly talk a little bit about the series. If you're just here for the money making strategies, you can skip ahead, there's chapters to all of them down below. So a lot of you were wondering where episode 2 was for a while, and I just want to make it clear, this series was never intended to be something where I make a new character, grind for the 100 mil, and see how fast I can get it. The plan was always to do passive moneymakers, logging on once every couple days, and slowly build up the wealth. So episodes to this series will be months apart. After this one, there will be probably months before the next one comes out. Now originally the plan was for episode 1 to be the first million silver made, and then episode 2 was going to be around the 8 to 10 mil premium payment amount, but between episode 1 and now, 2 important changes have happened to the game. First, premium went up in price significantly. It's now like at the time of recording around like 17 mil silver, something crazy like that. And second, and more importantly for this series, tax was increased. So on the patch Into the Fray 6, they increased market order setup fee and sales fee by 1 percentage point for premium characters and 2% for non-premium characters. This is a massive thing for the way the character was meant to be played. Basically, all I'm doing is playing the market one way or another. Whether it's transporting or crafting, I'm just buying low and then selling high. This new tax does 2 things that makes this so much harder for me. First, it cuts heavily into the profits. It's not just that I'll be making 2% less money on any time I flip something on the market. If I had a 4% profit margin before, with a 2% increased tax, it's now 2% profit margin. That's half the amount of silver made. It's going to be twice as hard to make money from the market by buying low and selling high. Second, the difference between premium and non-premium players has increased. Since I'm not regularly playing on this account, premium is not really worth it, meaning I won't be getting it. So instead of a 3% difference in tax like it was before, now it's a 4% difference in tax between me on a non-premium character and most of the player base on a premium character. This means that it'll be harder for me to find market inconsistencies to take advantage of than before by a factor of probably around 25%. Now the market should eventually adjust to the new tax, making profit margins a bit better, but it will adjust to the new premium tax and not the non-premium tax. The point of all this is that this was already a really ambitious series that I expected to take me at least a year or 2 to complete. Now it's gotten much harder and will take much more than a year or 2 to complete. So episodes will not be very consistent, and there will definitely be months in between them. But anyways, that's enough about the challenges. Let's get on to making some silver. Okay, so a big moneymaker that I was always planning to do a lot in this series are black market transport runs. They're probably one of the best, if not the single best moneymaker in the game. They're dangerous, but you can make a ton of money doing them. So basically the black markets in Brecilien, I just went there and checked some of the prices of stuff on the black market there, and now I'm going to go to Limhurst here, and I'm going to buy order a whole bunch of those items on the Limhurst market, and then transport them over to the black market, and they will have a pretty big profit on most of them. Now I'm looking to invest like almost all of my money in this, so I want it to be safe and check the prices, but it is a little bit hard to check the prices in the black market, so usually you don't really have to check them. If you go with the items that have a crafting bonus in the town, like swords I'm doing here, I showed you last episode how to check that, then they'll pretty much always have a profit. So that's what I would do. I just go and buy order a bunch of stuff that has crafting bonuses in the town, like swords in Limhurst, and then you can transport to the black market and it'll basically always make you money. Oh, damn. That's a lot of stuff that came in. That's really nice. Ooh, there's only like one thing left. Okay, that's actually almost all my stuff came in, which was really lucky. That is super nice. Those are probably not going to buy them. But this is quite a lot. That's perfect. Look at that. It's like so close. Oh, almost perfect. So black market runs are extremely good money, and so they're one of the activities that is ganked the most heavily. If you watch any of like the really heavy ganking YouTubers, often what they're doing is they're in the royal zones and they're ganking black market transporters. Meaning you would think it would be a super dangerous activity to do, but it's actually not, as long as you're not doing too much money. So the thing about ganking in the royals is that you lose reputation every time that you kill a blue player. Meaning most hard fight gank groups do not want to waste killing some noob that probably isn't going to have too much stuff on them. So in my situation here, if you're relatively early on into the game and you don't have that much money to transport, you're transporting on like a tier 3 horse like I am here with 4.1 gear, nobody is going to expect you to be transporting. Everybody's going to expect you to be a noob, and so those gankers that are specifically targeting black market transporters will ignore you. You still do have to be careful because other hard flags that are not specifically ganking black market transporters will go for you, but those are much easier to avoid. So it's still a little bit of risky, but I was really confident in not dying here, as the risk is honestly really low if you don't look like a valuable target. Okay, I just finished up my black market transport trip, and I've already made a ton of money off it, which is nice. But basically, you have two options now. I could just sell the gear that I used to transport here on the market here, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm actually just going to transport back to Limhurst. I checked some prices on gathering gear and they're much cheaper here than they are, that's a lot of X's, they're much cheaper here than they are in Limhurst, so I'm just going to buy a bunch of gathering gear and transport it back. It's not going to be as valuable of a transport trip, but I'm here, so I might as well do it. And that's what I did for probably a week or so. I probably did 2 or 3 more trips. I upgraded my gear to 5.1 with a tier 5 horse and a Fort Sterling cape to make me a little bit more safe, able to carry a little bit more. These are honestly such great money for like the 1 million silver mark, because the profit margins on the black market are really big, but if you try to do too much at once, you risk getting ganked really heavily. So if you only have a little bit of silver to work with, it's perfect because you get those big profit margins, and it's unlikely that you're really going to get targeted by those really competent high tier gank groups. Okay, so I was just playing on my main for a while, and I noticed that there's a lot of money to be made upgrading like tier 7 gear to tier 7.1 gear on the market. And there's a lot of reasons for this. It kind of makes sense that it is this way. So I did upgrading in my last video, 4 to 4.1, and now I'm going to go 7 to 7.1, invest some more money, buy order some tier 7 runes, and some of this tier 7 gear, see what we can find good profits on. Now, since I didn't want to invest too heavily just into one thing, I also looked at some tier 6 items and tier 6 runes to upgrade 6 to 6.1. If you're looking to do this and looking to find big profits on every item, one thing to think about is how often it is traded on the market. So sort of obscure items that are not traded as often will typically have higher returns on upgrading them, but they don't move through the market as fast, so they are more risky. Now, since the higher tier you go, the typically less they're traded on the market. For the tier 7 items, I went with some pretty common items like weapons, but for the tier 6s, since they got traded a little bit faster, I looked at some more obscure items and found some bigger profits on those. Okay, so unfortunately it's been a couple days and not a lot has come in. I could definitely make some profit out of these, but unfortunately I'm kind of just waiting on orders right now. Now, with the 2 strategies I was using to make money right now, one was upgrading gear by ordering gear and upgrading it, and the second was by ordering stuff for the black market, I ran into a little bit of a problem. Alright, I've run into a little bit of a problem here. It has been over a week, and basically my market is just not moving. All of these buy orders are outbid. I have an insane amount of money invested into these buy orders, and they're just not moving. So I don't really have any way to do anything right now. I could edit them, but with the new tax, it's just going to be so expensive and cutting my money so much that I'm just going to leave them. I don't really have a time pressure, so we're just going to leave them and hope eventually they buy. So it took over a week probably, but eventually some stuff sold and some stuff bought, and I had a little bit of money to work with. Okay, there's something I want to do to make money, but in order to do that, I need more money. So I'm going to do some moneymaker that gets instant results, which is flipping items on the black market. So I go to the black market here and I just search up some random items. I'm doing spears because it's something I'm familiar with. I find spears on here that are expensive, and then I can go to the market in Brecilien, which is right next door, and buy them and sell them back to the market for a increase. So these 5.2s are like 65k. A 5.3 here for like 300k, and its average says 210, so I'm guessing that has a profit. Flat 8 for 289. I know that's also a pretty good price.
Want a trade?
So check on the market here, and yeah, it's only 250k for, so I'll make a little bit of money on this. With tax it'll be only a little bit, but that definitely makes money. And the tier 8s, okay, they're a little bit expensive here, so the tier 5.3 I'll make money on, but and that one will also make money. So this is just like a really easy way. If you have the time and you just want to sit here and check markets over and over, it's not very fun, but you definitely make money on basically every flip. Now, as I was flipping the black market, I noticed that in particular, a lot of royal items had a pretty big difference between their prices in the black market and their prices on the normal market. However, because royal items are just naturally so expensive, the tax cut into those profits pretty big. So what I decided to do was combine creating royal items with flipping onto the black market. Okay, so since this has been a pretty good moneymaker for me actually, and I'm probably going to do it more later, I'm just going to show you quickly how I'm doing it here. So basically what I have here is a super scuffed, ugly spreadsheet. I've basically inputted the prices for, I bought ordered a bunch of runes, souls, and relics up to tier 4 to tier 6, and then also bought ordered royal sigils from tier 4 to tier 6. And I've just recorded the price that it takes to craft the base piece, and then how much it takes to upgrade each one, depending on if it's a 94 upgrade or a 96 upgrade. So then over here, I basically just have my prices of how much it's generally going to cost to create each type of item. Now, this does not count the cost of like the base material, like a sandal that I have to put in there. So it's just a general rough idea, but then I can just take these prices when I'm looking at the black market. If I see a 6.1 chest piece for like 600k, I can just very quickly reference this and say, okay, it's going to cost me around 500k, probably a little bit more than 500k, add in a little bit of tax that's in there, and I can get a general idea of if I'm going to make money on the item or not. Now, as I was waiting for some buy orders for the next piece of money making, I was doing some random solo dungeons just to kill some time, sort of AFK, and I entered this solo dungeon and found this random dude who started to attack me, and I thought, screw it, I can't really lose this matchup, so let's get my first PvP on the account. And then his friend came in. Luckily for me, that healer was on a smite and not a healing Q, so I was able to just get the nice little 1v2. Okay, so currently there is this big Dota tournament going on called the International. It's an event every year that I really like watching, and so I want to watch it, and I need something like sort of AFK to do while watching it, so I'm going to do some Yellow Zone faction transports. Now, these are risky. If I die, I'll lose a bunch of money in the hearts, but if I get a Grizzly Bear, I'm pretty sure that like no one will be able to kill me. There's like no gank groups out there, so it's pretty safe, and I'll be there if I get attacked, so It's a little bit risky, but I should be able to do it. I don't quite have enough money to get the grizzly bear, so we'll start with medium ones with a bar and just hope that no one decides to gank me. At least until I get enough money to get the grizzly bear and large transports running.
They did just use the Chrono and the Kisses to just try to kill. They're trying to combo up onto Boom here, the Pangolin. He's healthy, but is he healthy enough? The Chrono Spear comes down, and they will use it to get one kill. Now try and take the Aegis away from Matu. One more hit will be required. They won't find it. Coconut gonna connect onto Rajagaz, who turns around and deals with Insania instead, but Insania's got the Voodoo Switcheroo to get himself out of danger for now, but when he comes back...
And that is why I wanted the grizzly bear before I did this. I just walked straight into that guy. I'm so lucky he didn't dismount me. Now, eventually I did get the money to buy the grizzly bear and get some of the big transports running. Unfortunately, they weren't as profitable as I was hoping, as the hearts didn't sell as quickly as I wanted to, so I wasn't able to consistently do them super fast, but I got some runs in and they're all worth money, so not too bad. And that was basically my plan for the next while in terms of moneymakers. I did some more black market transports, a lot of black market transports, more royal crafting, things like that, and basically just slowly built up wealth. It's definitely slow, and this is sort of like the stage of the game that gets a little bit discouraging because you're not making that much money, but just remember that every bit of money you make lets you make more money in the future. So it definitely is rough for a while, but it sort of is a slow and steady thing. Alright, so it is like 2 days after Beyond the Veil update, and new updates, especially new content updates, are always amazing for making money. So what I'm doing is I got the 50k rep to get to Brecilien, and I checked the market there, and there is some great profit margins between Brecilien and basically all other markets. So I'm going to run a Brecilien transport trip. Now, I don't expect Brecilien to have too big profit margins for too long because it's actually super easy and super safe to transport to Brecilien. You can go through the yellow zone, but I'm pretty sure it's harder to find Brecilien in the yellow zone, but even through the lethal mist, it's super easy. So I just left Caerleon. There's 0 reds in the zone. It's a super safe zone. I'm going to run around until I find a wisp, and I'll show you what I mean. There it is. Finally found one. Okay, so once you find a wisp, you can basically just pop in it, and you can basically just instantly see if there's a part of the Brecilien here. Looks like I don't see one in this zone, so I can just pop directly back out. Yeah, I just want to make sure I don't see one here, so I can just pop directly back out. No risk, and I'm just out, and I can go find another wisp in this super safe zone. Like, there's basically no risk. Okay, nice. This one has the portal to Brecilien. So this is really the only time when you can die, and like, it's so hard to dismount someone. 1500 HP boar. It has armor. As a solo player, I have a Fort Sterling cape. Like, it's so hard for any player to dismount me here. I'd basically have to DC to die here, or just like get ganged up on by a bunch of people. It is super safe transporting through the mists, even in the lethal ones. Basically everything sold, I think. Oh my, yeah, basically everything. It's been less than 24 hours. I just have some omelets that look like I outbid, but basically everything sold in like less than 24 hours. That's pretty insane. Looks like prices are adjusting very quickly though. Yeah, omelets are adjusting quickly, so I probably won't do another one, but definitely really good money.
Stay honest.
And that's where I'm going to call this episode. So the net worth is sitting around 6 mil. It's super spread out between banks waiting to transport stuff and markets and all of that, but I'm estimating it to be around 6 million silver. You can definitely do these methods far in the past too. Even if you have like 10, 20 mil, these methods are still pretty good. Obviously you can scale them up as well. In the next episode, I have some new things that I want to try for money making, so make sure you look out for that one. It won't be for quite a while, but make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it.